Hi, I'm Andy with EcoCha, and here we are with batch number 35 of the EcoCha Tea Club. And this month's batch is a gold medal award-winning Dongting Tsui Yu Oolong tea. It won gold medal prize in a local competition produced by the Nantou County Tea Trade Association, this organization holds competitions for several types of tea, both in cultivar and in processing method. Tsui Yu is the name of a cultivar. It's Tai Cha number 13, also known as number 29, given its registered number by the Tea Research and Extension Station. Tsui Yu is a little bit more fickle in terms of its growing conditions, and if it's taxed heavily, in other words, if it's harvested continuously, the lifespan of the tea trees is less than others. So what it has going for it is the quality of tea that it does produce. And one of the attributes of Tsui Yu is that it does quite well with more heavy processing, namely oxidation and roasting, particularly roasting. So it's the Tsui Yu cultivar made in the form of a traditional Dongting Oolong tea. And our friend who enters this competition annually and has won first place prize just about, it'll be 3 years ago this winter. He won first place prize, and I remember tasting that batch, and that's when I knew that tea from this area, Songboling, Mingjian Township of Nantou County, can produce very fine quality tea. So yeah, here we have it, a gold medal award batch of Dongting Tsui Yu Oolong entered into spring 2018 competition. One of the things that I want to mention before I forget is that for quantity, or the proportion of tea leaves to water, because these leaves have been destemmed, the stems are removed, and it is heavily roasted, you can use less tea leaves per volume of water. I just put about 6.5 grams into a 150 milliliter pot. So if you basically just go lighter than you normally would, given the character of these leaves, they're quite small, they have no stems, it's a very concentrated, power-packed batch of tea. The aroma of the roasted leaves is kind of is the strongest roasted character overall in terms of the flavor profile of this tea. And what I mean by that is that the smell of the leaves stands in contrast to the actual flavor of the tea, which is definitely a roasted character as well, but and as well as the appearance of the brewed tea. It's a beautiful bright orange amber color, not dark, in other words, quite transparent. And that kind of throws you off after you're smelling the leaves and getting this really rich, dark, roasty fragrance coming off. Yeah, right as the first hit on the tongue is this sweet kind of dried fruit flavor. Definitely dried fruits. It's almost dried pineapple on the tip of the tongue. And then as it spreads across the palate, you get this much smokier undertone from the roast. I'm still getting this lasting, nice, warm, smooth, roasty aftertaste up through my nose from the first pour here. This step here, I just poured the second brew off into my cup here, and now I'm going to pour the remainder of the second brew into a second pitcher in order to be able to get each brew on its own. And that's a new innovation in my Gong Fu tea brewing techniques, is to have a second pitcher that's a receptacle for the remainder of each brew. In case people aren't drinking fast enough, or if you're brewing for 1 or 2 people, you can pour 1 cup off of each brew and then have a second receptacle to pour the remainder into, which allows you to experience each brew individually. Yeah, autumn. Late autumn. I grew up in New York State, and the sense of walking across a lawn or a forest trail that's thick with fallen leaves and that crispy, there's a crisp note in the air, and it's almost like the air itself has a bit of a campfire essence to it. It's really bringing back some memories right now. And then the aftertaste in the nose is that foresty, that deep autumn kind of foresty sense. I don't know, is it a flavor? Is it an aroma? Where is that sense coming from? It's hard to tell. So there you have it. Gold medal award winning Dongding Tsui Yu Oolong tea from spring 2018. We appreciate this competition for its effort and success in representing a traditionally made tea using a modern cultivar, a hybrid strain that was released by the Tea Research and Extension Station here in Taiwan. So it's a Taiwan invention in that respect, following a Taiwanese tradition, the Dongding Oolong tea making tradition. And finally, we find this batch more than worthy of sharing because we want to acknowledge the unique character that Tsui Yu offers, particularly in its roasted form. When Tsui Yu is unroasted, it has its own character as well. A very distinct herbal, floral character that is very recognizable. But then when it's roasted, it just sinks into this deep, rich, smooth character. So it's really, it's interesting to experience Tsui Yu in this form. As our October batch, we see it appropriate and fitting, particularly if you're from a little bit northern latitudes and fall is its own season with its own kind of character of aroma and that whole experience of going from summer slowly into winter. And please let us know what you think about this batch by posting your comments on our blog posts, sharing your photos of your tea tastings, your videos of your tea tastings. We want to hear what your experience is. That's what our tea club is about, for us to share our experiences and learn from each other and what people perceive from each unique batch of tea that we share each month. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next month.